Little warm-up chanting. Samukascha kadantascha kapilo gajakaranakaha lamborarascha vikato vignanasha vinayakaha dhumketu ganajaksho balachandro gajananaha dvabdashaitani namani japate trinuyadati Vidya rambe vivahecha praveshe nirgame tata sangame sakate chaiva Vinastasya najayate Vignavalikuttaraya Shri Ganari Pataye Namaha Vakritu Namaha Karya Suryakoti Samaprava Havinam Kurume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarvada Shuklam Bharadidam Vishnum Shashiranam Chaturbhujam Prasannavananam Dayet Sarva Vigna Upashantaye Navastesham Jayastesham Kutastesham Purajayah Isham Nivarashamo Hridayasya Janardanaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Nanarana Samayuktam Muktahara Vibhushitam Swanasim Asanam Charu Richartam Pratigriyatam Om Dashangang Gugulam Dupam Sugandhim Sumanokaram Umasutad Namastubhyam Vihana Parado Bhavat Om Dashangang Gugulam Dupam Sugandhim Sumanokaram Umasutad Namastubhyam Vihana Parado Bhavat Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Om Gananantva Ganapati Gom Havamahe Priyanantva Pripati Gom Havamahe Nirinantva Niritatpati Gom Havamahe Vaso Mama Aham Jani Garbadamatvam Garbadam Om Shanti 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 Okay, friends. Hi, Jenna. Namaste. Thanks for being here. It's just, making sure the sound is good. If there's any issues with the sound, let me know. I think I've got it pretty dialed in, though. And hi, Tammy. Nice to see you. Good morning. Anyone else out there that wants to check in and say hello, that's wonderful. I'm Santosh. If there's anyone on the call here that's newer today. And I first wanted to talk a little bit about, prana, life force. And this is I just wanted to show you this book, Prana, Pranayama, Prana, Vidya. Probably can't read that, maybe backwards. But this is a publication by the Bihar School of India. The Bihar School of India probably has produced more literature on yoga than any entity in the world. And and I have, more books of their, publications that I can even really count. But this one is particular on prana and pranayama practice. And in the lineage that I have studied with under Baba Haridas, we have such an extensive pranayama offering in that it's not like I really needed any more material. But it's interesting. I opened this book just to say, what might happen today. And it opened to this thing called Prana Mudra Pranayama, and it looks like this. And it may not mean anything yet to you, but it will by the time the class is over. And it's a practice that I've done a lot, and very powerful prana practice. And the thing about prana is that it's really this energetic fabric, as we know, but it's hard to talk about prana, for me at least, without talking about the other koshas, or at least recognizing the use of prana is really, it's like the fascia of spirit. So it's really a communication device for our perception that allows its refinement to then begin to perceive into more deeper or higher or more subtle or more sublime states of perception. And in this age, Babaji, again, in the lineage, that I studied under in this age, he said that a pranayama practice in Kali Yuga, and that's what I mean in this age, we're in Kali Yuga, because we're being so saturated by Rajas and Tamas Guna, that our one way out, it's almost like our only way out is through pranayama. And with pranayama, what goes on is we're building it internally, calling it in from outside, and also releasing it, internally. But we're also purifying that energy as well in our pranayama practice. And that is absolutely vital to deepen into these deeper states of meditation. And you guys know, those of you who've been coming to this class, this is what we're doing. We're doing pranayama to, wake up a deeper part of our nature. But then it's Vidya. Vidya means knowledge. And so knowledge in yoga is really experiential versus just like book knowledge. That's easy. You can read a book, learn some things, but it's really about the experience where the knowledge comes. And then, through that knowledge, then, wisdom comes. And another interesting thing that Babaji said at one point is he said, we need so much prana for self-realization, for self-actualization. And that really stuck with me through all these years, is that, and, as my pranayama practice now has continued for almost 15 years, I can recognize, that process. And the changes that I've seen internally are just massive and remarkable with respect to the quality of prana, and invariably it's vibration and how that influences the whole inner system of my perception. So anyway, the first work that we do is to wake it up, infuse it, do more of it, and then let it just purify all the internal structures of our subtle body fabric. So I really appreciate you guys joining me for these Tuesday, midday sadhana sessions. They're just awesome for me. And don't forget the whole Venmo thing. That's, a little tip there. And there's more retreat stuff coming at Shiva Live, so stay tuned in that. And if you're not dialed in on, my, follow me on public, whatever that is, Facebook or Instagram, social media, reach out in those ways too. So, Om Namaste. So I'm going to slip back to my mat here and take a seat. And just wiggle in, let it get comfortable. Maybe let the shoulders roll a little bit here. It's normal. We'll ground, we'll do a little asana, and then we'll dig into our pranayama practice. One of the biggest discoveries time that I had in my practice, I felt, is that the more subtle one could breathe, which includes slowing the pace of the breathing down. First, the more, present-minded one becomes. The full yogic breath, so just breathing deeply here, belly expands, ribs expand, chest lifts and expands. The more we actualize prana in the inner body, so breathing deeply here with the full yogic breath to begin our kind of grounding practice, but let the pace be pretty slow here. Both on the inhale and on the exhale. The eyes can close if they aren't already. The other Vidya of Prana is that it can be directed, and it's not limited by time or space. And so the mind can focus on any, say, object. And where that mind goes, the energy will flow. You know that. But in the practice of sadhana, the Vidya, the knowledge, is to direct the energy into the subtle body architecture to awaken it, to invoke it. So this is where it's paramount to understand the koshas, the 5 koshas, to know exactly what kind of structure you're, pursuing and what level. of the being you're working with. And then gently release the deep yogic breath and then just breathe into the belly. And let the body begin to release and soften. And just feel a sense of presence appear in the field. And then from this kind of aperture of experience, allow this gateway to open into your intention, into your sankalpa. And we'll chant the mantra of Om a couple times as an invocation to our practice here this afternoon. Exhale the breath completely and then inhale here. Om. And then again, another inhale. We'll do one more of those. So inhaling. Okay, wonderful, everyone. The sound in the neighborhood here, that'll subside. Let's come to our mats and we'll do just a little asana. I think moon salutations, so we're kind of celebrating the new moon here. So let's just begin in tabletop first and just do kind of barrel rolls with the body, circling the hips and just moving the torso here. Just waking up into the physical form a little bit, allowing for really the shrotras, they're called, the channels of the physical body, and the nadis, we know the nadi, the channels of the subtle body, to begin to have some stimulation. Just kind of be organic in your movements, whatever you may be feeling that way. Continue to breathe, with conscious awareness. So you're moving and breathing, but you're aware, and that's evocative for, the causal frame, the witness perception, the witness consciousness. Ooh, and then let's just come up and down dog here. So we'll just really just kind of start right in, downward facing dog. And then just take a moment and navigate whatever kind of process is most suitable for you in down dog. Maybe pedaling or moving or being still. Just focusing on the breath is always useful. Oh, yeah. Mhm. And then let's come to stillness, though, now. So, Gayastira, the practice of stillness, and just breathing deeply. And then gently walk the feet to the hands here in a forward fold to Uttanasana. Breathing deeply. Letting the breath be very deep and subtle still, though. There's no hurry at all. Let things slow down purposefully. It's like pacing is replaced by a sense of presence. And then half lift here. And just kind of sit on it and breathe deeply. And then inhale the breath. And exhale, hinge, folding forward. Oh, and then put a little bend in the knees and then send the left leg back into a lunge for just a moment here. Lengthen through the crown of the head, space in the body. And then begin to sink into that left hip, little bend in that right knee, and then gently release the left knee to the earth here. And then bring the hands to the right knee, thigh, this way. And then float the hands and arms. Yeah, so Chandra Namaskar, moon salutation here. And let the palms face forward, core active, heart lifting, breath full and rich. And then a nice big inhale and exhale. Gently release the hands down to either side of the front foot, and then the right knee meets the left knee. And then we come to stand on the knees and extend the arms up. And just breathe. Let the toes spread on the mat. Little back bend here. Just kind of imagine gazing at the moon, or even offering your intention to the moon. The Shakti is really what it's all about. You need to activate that principle to merge with the Shakta, which is the male principle of consciousness. And then a nice big inhale, and we'll float into child's pose here. So just gently release all the way down. The arms extend, hips to the heels, forehead to the earth. Just breathing. And then gently inhale, float forward onto the belly for cobra pose, Bhujangasana. So ground the feet, hips, and engage the back and float on up. Just breathe in here. And a nice big inhale and exhale. Float down, ground the hands firm, lift the hips, and then we move back into child's pose again. So just gently articulate the hips back, forehead to the earth. And then inhale, the hands kind of slide up the mat, come to stand on the knees and reach the hands and arms over the head. This time with an inhale, actually inhale, put a bend in the elbows and just let the heart lift. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then inhale, reach the stars. Exhale, hands to prayer here at the heart. And then we'll slip the left foot forward into this lunge again. Just gently sink into the front leg knee here. And then float. Oh, the arms again. Gaze can go up. Just imagining the sliver of the new moon. really reaching through the tips of the fingers, particularly that right hand, so that right hip flexor opens. And a nice big inhale. And exhale, hands to prayer, and then the back foot steps to the top of the mat. So forward fold here. Yum. Oh. And then half lift, Ardha, breathing deeply and subtly. Then Pluto bend the knees, let the elbows lift and take that to standing all the way up. Arms over the head. Pluto sway in the body. Just for a moment here. And just stay with deep breathing, but again, it's continuing to be subtle and refined. It's the kind of the habit, if you will, is to dump the exhale out of the body, and we want to really manage that as well. Inhale deeply. Exhale, float the hands to the heart here. Inhale here at the heart. Little bend in these. Exhale, just hinge at the hips. Keep a flat back. Come into the forward fold. Hands at the heart. Just really humble here. Gently release the hands to the earth. And then send now the right leg back into the lunge. Pause here for a moment. Feeling into that. And then gently let that right knee float to the earth. And then the hands draw to the left knee or thigh. Sinking again. I kind of lean back in this, but then I try and tuck the chin so that keeps the spine elongated. And then reach the arms up. Stay with the breath here. Yeah. And then a nice big inhale. And exhale, gently float the hands down either side of this front leg, and then left knee meets the right knee here. And then inhale, come to stand on the knees, float on up. Imagine that sliver of the new moon, or offering your intention to Chandra. And then with an inhale, heart flourishes, elbows bend. Stay with the breath. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, float into child's pose. Just gently use the core here. Arms extend, hips, heels, forehead, earth. Breathe into the belly. Yeah. And then gently inhale, slither forward onto the front of the body. And then Bhujangasana again, cobra pose, feet ground, pelvis grounds, muscles of the back engage here. And then take a nice big inhale. Then exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, center neutral. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Yep. Inhale, center neutral. And exhale, float down. And then ground hands firm, lift the hips up. And we meet back into child's pose. So we meet back into child's pose. Yeah. And then gently inhale, slide the hands up. Stand on the knees. Gaze up. Reach up and back. Heart opens. And then inhale, reach to the stars again. Exhale, hands to prayer, and just gently step now this right foot to the top of the mat. Sink into that front knee, and that hip opens. And then inhale, float the arms up again. Breathe very deeply. Yeah. So Chandra Namaskar, moon salutation. Inhale the breath. And exhale, back foot steps to the top of the mat. So forward fold here. Take a moment. Yeah, let that kind of iron out the low back. Maybe grab opposite elbows, little deeper extension of the spine. And then half lift, Ardha. Pause here. A little bend in the knees, elbows take us to standing, flat back, reach up. Oh, that's it. Yeah, and then nice big inhale. And gently exhaling, floating the hands to the heart. So just moving and breathing very mindfully and slowly. Inhale here at the heart. Slowly exhale, float the hands down by the side. Just one long exhalation. Then draw the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale. And then exhale, bend the knees generously, hinge at the hips, float the hands and arms up and over the head. Yeah. Just breathe here. Ah. And then gently release the grip of the hands here. Gently step back into downward facing dog. So nice. Yeah. And then float the right leg hip height there. Really reach it back. And then take the leg higher. Let the hip naturally spin open. Bend the knee. Yeah. Ground that left heel a little bit. Then straighten the leg. Exhale, gently release it down. And we'll switch. So float the left. Hip square initially. And then take the leg higher. Still open up. Bend the knee when you're ready. Keep grounding now the right heel. Oh, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, gently release it all the way to down dog. Here, big inhale. And exhale, to the knees, child's pose. Again, just relaxing. And then gently inhale, come on up here. And we'll come to a seated position. So take whatever time that you may need to establish your seated asana. I have a little cushion that I use. Make sure my singing bowl is close by. Maybe a little water close by. Okay, so get comfy. And make sure that there's nothing around you so much. There's just a little bit of room. The first little practice that we'll do is we're going to inhale the breath, hold the breath in, and then we'll pooch out the belly and then draw it to the spine. Pooch out the belly, draw it to the spine. We'll do that 3 times while we hold the breath in. Okay? We'll do it together. Exhale the breath completely. And then take a big inhale. Hold the breath. Pooch out the belly. To the spine. Pooch. Spine. Pooch. Spine. Hold. And gently exhale. Always activating a sense of feeling here. Do one more repetition of that same pacing. I'll just let you go through that on your own. So nice big inhale. Exhaling when appropriate. Okay. Whew. So Bandha practice. So this is Mishrit Pranayam here, mixed Pranayam, until we do Prana Mudra. So we'll first do each one of the bandhas separately, and then we'll do them together in Tribandha. This is Mula Bandha. As a reminder, it's done on an inhale retention, and you're activating the muscles around the anal sphincter, because Mula Bandha is actually the contraction of Ganesh Nadi, which is inside the colon of the colon, 4 finger widths deep inside. So exhale your breathing completely. We'll do 3 of these together. Take a nice big inhale, belly extends. When the belly draws to the spine, capture the bandha, so contract the muscles around the anal sphincter. Full breath in, hold the breath in, wait on it. And gently exhale here, and then relax the bandha, relax the pelvic floor. We'll take a catch breath, so inhale. Exhale slowly. Inhale deeply. Capture Mula Bandha, root lock. And exhale gently and slowly releasing the bandha. Oh yeah, and then another catch breath. So inhale here. Exhaling. And when you're ready, a deep inhale, capturing Mula Bandha. Hold the breath in, relax into it. And slowly exhale. And breathe into the belly. You You may feel the effects of the practice. There may be some sense of pulsation or a sense of lightness. Temperature may increase some, heart rate. Mind focused. And so then we'll do Jalandhar Bandha, the throat lock. This is done on an inhale retention. So we will inhale the breath, release the chin into the hollow throat, lift the sternum, and then turn the corners up on the mouth to close the glottis in the back of the throat. And again, we'll do this 3 times together. Exhale the breath completely, and then take a full yogic breath, a big inhale. Hold the breath, release the chin down, sternum lifts, corner of the mouth turn up. Lift the chin and exhale. We'll go right into the second round. So big inhale here. Hold the breath in, chin releases, sternum lifts, corners of the mouth. Lift the chin and exhale. And last round, we'll move right into it. So full breath in here. Lift the chin and exhale. Just breathe into the belly, feel the effects of the practice. And then our last bandha is Uddiyana Bandha. We know this is flying upward. It's the navel lock. It's done on an exhale retention. The breath is held out. We lean forward, turn the hands in. I'll kind of draw my hands to the earth. And then the belly draws to the spine and then up under the rib cage as the breath is held out. It's a little more challenging to hold the breath out, as we know. And so the retention may not say as long, and that's fine. We don't want to overstress it, but we also want to kind of figure out where the edge is. And so that's okay too. And so we'll do 3 of these as well. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale the breath, lean forward. Hold the breath out, belly to the spine, up under the rib cage. Belly relaxes. Inhale when you're ready. Catch breath. Just again, breathing subtly both on the inhale and the exhale. Second round, inhale your breathing. Exhale, lean forward. Hold the breath out when you're ready. Belly to the spine, up under the rib cage. Breathe in when you're ready. We'll do one more round here. Inhale the breath. Exhale. Lean forward. Uddiyana Bandha, flying upward, the navel lock. Oh yeah. Just take a moment here. Feel the effects of the practice. Powerful. Okay. So our next pranayama is called Chatarbhuj. And we practice this a couple times, 4-part breath. And how this practice is done is we inhale for a certain duration, say 5-6 counts. And then we hold the breath for the same duration, 5 or 6 counts. And then, as you guessed it, we exhale for the same duration, whatever it is, 5-6 counts. And then we hold the breath out for 5 or 6 counts. Whatever your breath cycle is here. What I'll offer in this practice is that what's happening is the prana is being retained, and as it's retained, it's being infused into the fabric of the subtle body. It's a really interesting process. What's most powerful, of course, always in these pranayama practices is the actual retention of breath. So when you read if you will, the strict definition of pranayama, it means life force expansion, life force retention, and that life force is retained when the breath is held. And so actually the true practice of pranayama, it always includes some form of breath retention. So if there isn't breath retention, it's not quote unquote a pranayama. It may be a nice breathing practice, say, but it doesn't necessarily have the quality, if you will, of a pranayama. Pranayama. Prana Vidya. What I want to suggest, though, is it may take a round or two to find this, but let the pacing be slow enough that when you do your exhale retention, that there's just a little stress that builds at the bottom of the very end of the retention of the exhale breath. Because in that tension, there's a release of prana and a vibration that comes in, and a purification of the subtle body, and a release of prana. It's really magical. So Chatarbhuj Pranayama, the 4-part breath. You're on your own. Begin when you're ready. As time permits, I'll bring us to a close. And then after your next exhalation, complete the round that you're on. Just feel the effects of the practice here. Prana Vidya. the knowledge of prana. Just let that integrate here. We'll just take a moment, just relaxing before we move on. Okay. So gently open the eyes. So our last pranayama is called Prana Mudra. It's also called Shanti Mudra, so the mudra of peace. It's done by combining breathing, a position of the hands, and also a focus of your awareness. And so I'm just going to demonstrate and kind of talk our way through it as I demo, and then we'll practice it together. It begins by creating a downward pointing triangle at the pelvic area, and then taking your awareness into the very base of the spine, you know, in Swayambhulingam, where Kundalini is essentially, or Muladhara chakra, different kind of locations that you can reflect on, but all at the pelvic floor. And then from here, what happens is we begin the yogic breath. So we begin to inhale and we draw the triangle up. And as we draw the triangle up, we're drawing our awareness up the spine. And then it naturally kind of opens here as we keep inhaling, the arms lift, and then the palms turn up at the level of the crown of the head or thereabouts, and then concentrating here at the crown as you hold the breath in. And then exhale, gently begin to release the hands back into the triangle and release your awareness back down the spine until it abides back in the pelvic floor in Swayambhulingam and Muladhara chakra, with the breath held out for at least 3 or 4 counts. And then the next repetition begins as the inhale comes in and the hands float up, they turn up, go to the level of the head, and then concentrating on the crown as the breath is held in. Prana Mudra, Shanti Mudra. So that's our practice here. The next one. And so I'll do the first one together, and then the practice will be yours as time permits. So close the eyes here, bring the hands into the triangle, bring your awareness into the pelvic floor, and just take a moment there, let everything integrate and come to concentration. And then gently release the breath here. Then inhale, float the hands up the front of the body, float your awareness up the spine, full yogic breath in, and hold the breath at the top of the inhale. Concentrate on the crown. And then gently exhale your breathing. Let the hands float back into position in the front of the body. And then float down. Your awareness floats back down, back to the pelvic floor. Hold the breath out, concentrating. And then begin your next round, your own pacing as time permits. And with your next exhalation, complete the round that you're on. And as you complete that round, extend the exhale just a little longer till you get that little wobble in your nervous system. Just breathe into the belly when you've completed. Prana Vidya, knowledge of prana. Just notice the sense of glowing. Just illuminating. Illuminated insight yoga. Prana Vidya, knowledge of prana. Now bring your awareness for meditation, bring your awareness to the crown of the head here. Bugs out of my hair. Just encourage the prana to ascend into the crown. And also, you may visualize the universal prana descending from up above to the crown. And then begin the subtle vibration of Om, both on the inhale and exhale. And your breathing should be as refined and as shallow as one may develop. So internally, in other words, chanting Om as you inhale and Om as you exhale. And one may begin to visualize the mantra of Om riding on the prana in the crown of the head. So allow to actualize up there. There's a certain sense of vairagya that's helpful here, and that word means dispassion. That little sense of dispassion allows for any sense of holding or gripping to create the experience to subside. And in that release, then allows for the pranic energy to flow. So this is the prana vidya. For the prana to flow, one needs to let go. It's this magical balancing act between doing and undoing. And staying focused here on the crown, let the mantra subside. And then activate that in you, which is conscious awareness. Where this illumination in the crown is directed or transformed in the capability, in the capacity of super mental awareness, the supermind. It's not necessarily the cognitive mind, though, of course. It's almost as if the being becomes an antenna of perception. Just continuing to be the observer of the stillness, that layer of perception, of refinement, and then allow for your being to fully explore the information that's coming in through the five senses, whether it be the sense of smell, taste, the darkness behind the eyes, the sight, in other words, the touch or the hearing. And then always pivoting back to that sense of stillness as the being is then activated through its tools of awareness on the gross level. And breathe a little deeper here. And take a moment and have reflection into your intention, into the Samkalpa. And let's bring hands to prayer here at the heart. Continuing to feel integrated, though, earth body meets causal spirit element. Illuminated insight. Prana Vidya. And we'll chant one Om here to complete our practice, but further to really connect to that higher vibration of the universe. Exhale the breath here and then inhaling. Om. A nice little hit of prana is happening here. Let's just let that ride that out a little bit. So thank you for sharing your practice and your time here. Namaste. Ooh. Inch my way a little closer. Ooh. So thank you for sharing your time. Yeah, Prana Vidya, knowledge of Prana. If there's any reflections, please reach out. Love to hear from you if you're connecting to these practices and if they're supporting your experience and things. Imagine they are. Hope they are. And stay tuned and everything. Yes, Tammy, you're welcome. Thank you for attending. And stay tuned for stuff. Retreats coming up at Shivalaya, absolutely through August and into the fall in September. And I'm busy beaver up there doing some building and things, trying to get a couple more things completed for people's comfort to stay in our practice, really. And that's mostly it. Venmo, remember that piece, and we'll see you here next Tuesday or Saturday morning. Mountain Monk 11. Love, peace. Thanks, everyone. Keep the faith out there. Be safe. Yeah, stay in the heart. Namaste.